All right, guys. Yeah,
Do you know it's gonna be cold?
I heard that.
Dennis, are you able to say anything about what's going on with Dwayne Washington? He's been on the injured illness for a while.
Yeah, he's been having what they call cluster migraines. So basically, it's a process that that could go anywhere 3 to 5 weeks is what I've been told. In terms of just migraine headaches. So I don't know if any of you guys have had a migraine headache, but it's not fun. He'll be out this week.
Just get your thoughts on DeMario making the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's kind of a long time coming. So, man, he's been a great part of what we've been able to do here over the last 4 or 5 years, and been a great addition to our organization. Works extremely hard, great in the community. Really the type of players that we're looking for. So I'm glad to see that he gets recognized for that.
Yeah, how much do you kind of watch like the wind forecast, and like, is there a point like where it reaches where it might affect kind of how you call it in, or you're expecting?
Well, look, you have to have contingency plans for anything, and I think wind is probably the biggest factor that affects the game. It's not cold, it's not snow, it's not any of those factors. It's more about the wind. So we'll see what the wind is when we get there. I think they're calling for it to be pretty windy, but until you kind of get into the stadium and, really get a feel for exactly what it's like, you just have to have contingency plans either way.
If, kind of following up, but if you win the toss, okay,
Yeah.
you want them against the wind?
I think you got to take all those factors into consideration. So, we'll find out come game time, if we win the toss. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of factors that go involved in that.
I know I think it was the Seattle game in the playoffs in 2013, there was a really bad wind, and it was like two different game plans offensively, when you had it and when you don't. I mean, is it that direction?
Well, potentially. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to give you that answer right now, and certainly I don't want to give away, any of our game plan in terms of what we're doing. But yeah, the weather will be a factor in, what we do, and we'll see, how much it really affects the game.
Dennis, what do you think about the way Andy's been playing these last couple of weeks? I think he's 4 straight weeks without a pick and playing pretty healthy.
Yeah, look, I think Andy's played well for us. I think he's operated efficiently and given us opportunities. And so, I plan on him continuing to play the same way. And so, yeah, I think he's played well.
Have you noticed Marcus May, like, has he gotten healthier as the season progressed with the Achilles? It seems like he's just been making more and more plays like the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think he's been, getting healthier and feeling better. He's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder right now, so we'll see where he's at. We'll make a decision probably tomorrow on him, but up until the shoulder, I'd say, yeah, he was feeling a lot better. So, yeah, he's doing good.
Chris Richard was telling us last week on Marshawn that contact was probably the biggest step. I mean, is that something you guys have been able to test out yet? Is he able to?
Yeah, look, I think he's as close as he's been, and so, again, he'll be another guy that we'll continue to monitor over the next couple of days, but I do think he's getting closer.
And this is probably a hard question to answer, but if you had him all of this time, and he's been out a long time, how much of a difference?
I think he's a difference maker player. He's a Pro Bowl caliber, corner, and a guy that we've used a lot, over the last few years, and matched him up on teams' best receivers, and put him in a lot of man-to-man coverage and singled him up, and for the most part, he's been able to do a pretty good job in that role. So, yeah, it certainly affects us. I do think that Paulson Adebo, Alontae Taylor, You know, I think those guys have stepped up and done a pretty good job in his absence, so.
As far as like the game management, if you get to the end of the quarter, you know, would you be really cognizant about maybe possibly using the timeout that would benefit you with the?
Yes, yes. I mean, the short answer is yes. I mean, you know, again, all those factors, you know, play into account when you're playing the game. And look, I think, again, you have to get into the game and see exactly what the elements are. I mean, we certainly expect some pretty significant win, but, you know, we'll see how much it affects the game. You know, it's hard for me to answer those questions until, you know, we're in that environment. But those are all things that have been discussed. We've discussed a lot of those things. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys out there.